Make sure. Yeah, I was a big fan of Tecmo Super Bowl as a kid. My older brother Simon really introduced me to football, and because he played in high school, and we played Tecmo Super Bowl a lot um, on the NES, and TecmoSuperBowl.org is a group that they update the the game with current rosters every year, and so I always kind of remind myself, hey, I can play. I'm not a huge fan of Madden anymore. I used to play a lot of that as in high school and stuff too, but I don't know. You know, Madden's fine, but I don't know. I kind of prefer playing in the Tecmo Super Bowl in this format, and yeah, so this is the Tecmo Super Bowl 2020 with obviously last year's rosters. You know, it doesn't take into account obviously this recent draft and all the trades that have happened. So Tom Brady's obviously still on the Patriots, but yeah, it's very cool. They basically they go through and just essentially update the player names and their you know, abilities, scores, and all that stuff. So, you know, all the logos you can see are all updated as well. So next year when they do 2021, it'll be the LV Raiders, right? So, but anyways, let's just kind of do a replay of the Super Bowl because I'm totally bummed. I'm a lifelong Niner fan, even before, you know, their success in recent years. Growing up in the Bay and starting to watch football in the 90s, you know, I grew up in the East Bay area, so you would think I'd be a Raiders fan, but I was a Niner fan. You know, my dad was a Niner fan, but, or is a Niner fan, but when I started watching in the 90s, the Raiders were in LA, so to me, the Raiders have always been a sort of a odd team to me because, you know, they moved back to Oakland in the late '90s, and you know, I don't have anything against the Raiders, but I just had no emotional or nostalgic connection to the Raiders, so I just, you know, just always been a Niners fan. You know, I was fortunate enough when I started watching football in the '90s that the Niners at least got one Super Bowl out of that. I guess 89 and 94. But yeah, so it's oh god, Sammy Watkins just burned us. Yeah, it's weird how they adjust the colors to all the teams as well. I'm not sure why the Niners got vomit green, and why the Chiefs are like kind of this magenta. I mean, I don't think they really needed to change the colors from the originals because the Chiefs are still that bright red, and the Niners are gold and red, so I'm not sure why they're vomit green in this game. I guess they just wanted to switch it up a little bit, but yeah, you can see you got Bosa and Richard Sherman and Dre Greenlaw, all these guys, they're in here. So Quan Alexander, and yeah, see. Going for that field goal. Yeah, I might actually play a full season of this. Oh, yes! Locked. See how it goes. If I remember correctly, my older brother Sai, when he played seasons in this game, he would want a perfect passer rating, and so like if he played a game and he had an incomplete pass, he would restart the game. I vaguely remember that. I mean, this is when I was in maybe like 5th grade or 6th grade, but I kind of remember that. Yeah. Yeah, my Sai, my older brother, he was so into this game. I think I also remember. I'm sorry to out Sai on all this, but I think I even remember he would play secretly late at night. I don't know if he was playing a season or if he just was playing the game, but I remember him like hiding a monitor in his closet and playing at night. This is an awesome game. This is like one of the greatest NFL licensed football games in the history of video games. I mean, when you have a group that's keeping this going after so many years, because of the kind of this, I don't know if it's a cult following, but at least there's a following of guys that grew up playing this game. To keep it going like this with current rosters, it's a pretty cool thing. I think there was even an ESPN documentary on how there's still Tecmo Super Bowl, Tecmo Bowl tournaments. At least it was like I think it was a 30 for 30 short. I don't remember, but yeah, some guys take this game real serious. But, my strategy is I don't know if you've never played Tecmo Bowl or Tecmo Super Bowl. If you pick the same play that the opponent has picked, you have guessed their play, and that's when the play breaks down and all the guys kind of rush the quarterback. And so the other thing is if you choose a pass play, your defensive backs will sit back and wait to cover receivers. And so, but if you call a run play, if you try to pick a run play, they won't cover. So I think a typical strategy is to, I guess it depends on the team you're playing, but yeah, and then if you pick a pass play and they run, something like this happens. If they have a good running back. But I tend to pick more pass on defense than run, because if they pass and your guys aren't covering, that's like a free play pretty much. Whereas if they run it, you always have a chance to chase that back down. Actually, I haven't even run yet. Yeah, I'm so pass heavy in this game. I like to pass more, and I like to... Running is good though. In the original Tecmo Super Bowl, the hard hitters, if you have a hard hitting character, defensive players will like bounce off them. And so in the original game, that was Christian Okoye on the Chiefs. Probably like a 99 hit rating or pretty close to that. So weak defenders will just bounce off him. And same with Tom Rathman on the Niners. They both had super high hit values. I don't think there was any OP players in the original Tecmo Bowl. Bo Jackson was like the OP player, where if you got a Bo Jackson play off, he could just outrun the entire defense. There's nothing they can do to stop him, pretty much. Whereas in this game, I don't think there's ever, in the original, there was never a player that could do that. I don't know what I just did there. I just totally broke it. Yeah, and then in future releases on the Super Nintendo and the Genesis, Tecmo continued this series with Tecmo Super Bowl 2 and 3. Actually, they re-released, they were remade the original this original Tecmo Super Bowl uh, to match the, to keep up with the or I guess to update the graphics and all that to 16-bit. And yeah, so the original he made that. The original Tecmo Super Bowl on Genesis and Super Nintendo were pretty much like this game, but just updated graphics. And obviously the rosters, because the year it came out on Genesis and Super Nintendo was, I can't remember exactly, but it was early 90s. And yeah, the last release was Tecmo Super Bowl 3. Oh wow, fumbled. It was Tecmo Super Bowl 3, which I still have. Simon, my older brother, I still have his copy on the Genesis. And on those later releases, 2 and 3, they actually added more layers to the game, where there was a lot more customized play calling, audibles, better substitutions, different schemes in terms of the defensive schemes and offensive setup. And then I think in the third one you could actually make your own player, so you can make your own player and add him to a team. But yeah, look, Niners won the rematch, and oh wow, this is an example. I didn't actually get an incomplete pass. Jimmy Polo had 100% accuracy in this game. I'm not even paying attention. That was just halftime. It is late. It's almost 4 in the morning here. And I'm still playing Tecmo Super Bowl. Oh, I think I'm going to call it a night. But if you watch this replay, thanks for watching, and hope to do more of these NES streams soon.